What's up, everybody? Welcome back to our show. Thanks, guys, for being here. I got John here, Dom, and Matt. Welcome back to the show, guys.
Good evening.
Happy to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Matt, yeah, your camera, man. I'm like seeing right up your nose.
Okay.
I'm just messing with you. So we're excited that we're going to be showing off some budget grills today. And I know we only have 2 people in the chat so far, but how many cards do each of you guys have? So I have a heads up.
I just have some stuff, so I don't know what the number is exactly.
I guess what new stuff do you have that's considered a grail, Dom?
Oh, well, I have a mail day from B Roth that I was going to show on here.
Nice.
But in terms of a budget grail, I mean, look at that.
Oh, you're already showing off budget grills? Jeez,
No tease this time. All right.
Oh, wow.
This one doesn't have an envelope, so.
Okay.
Poppy and the Prince, my 2 favorite ball players.
Is that numbered or not numbered?
It's just the base card. There's a gold parallel, there's a sapphire, there's some other stuff that I've been looking to maybe get like a nicer version of that card. Yeah. But when I found out that Albert Pujols and David Ortiz were on the same card, I was just like, why don't I own this? So I picked that up.
That's awesome. Matt, what do you have, 1 or 2 cards tonight?
I can do a couple cards, yeah. A lot of new pickups to show, not so much grails per se, but one of them is probably grail. I'm looking forward for 3 months. I think it qualifies as a grail for me. That's patience.
Are they unpacked or they need unpacked still?
Need unpacked still. I don't know how we're gonna tease you. I have scissors though, just in case. So.
Well, show them off for the teaser.
All right. We got one here.
Okay. Yeah. Try not to show your address.
Oh, it's fine. I'm not that famous. Anyway, I got another one, a bigger one.
Okay. Nice. Right. Save the biggest one for the end, I would say.
Okay.
John, you have 1, right? Or you have 2?
I have 2.
Nice.
And I also said I'd like to say hi to Mike, the sports history collector's here. Orlando, a collector's dream. Josh, impact player. Hey, guys.
What's up, guys? So the first thing I wanted to talk about is a topic that we talked about last week. It's grail cards. And Dom actually came up with a new term of budget grails. So, Dom, you want to talk about it?
Oh, yes. So our good friend Adam at Vintage Sanctuary was talking about a budget grail and how he got an affordable Stan Musial card that he didn't really get to show on your guys' show, but the grail aspect of it being an attainable card that isn't exactly rare, it's affordable. We know Adam loves granola. Granola is not very expensive, so granola grail just immediately popped up into my head as the term for just cheaper cards that you really, really want and aren't going to sell as a grail.
Okay. That's great. Granola grails. So when we talked about grails, the first person I heard casket card was from you, Dom. So why don't you explain the difference between a casket card and a grail card?
I feel like now we're just really just breaking down the vocabulary of a sports card collector. But to me, my Carly Yastrzemski rookie card, it's a casket card because that's just one that I always wanted, and I'm not going to sell it. If I had to sell everything in my collection, I would keep that. So it's just a card that I'm not getting rid of. I'm going to take it basically to the metaphorical physical grave with me. So
yeah. If they needed money though to raise for your funeral, could you have a casket budget card?
I hope that I'm well off enough to not worry about that.
Okay, sounds good.
Well, you won't be worried about it, right? So.
P, Scott, Reindeer Studios. Hey, guys.
What's up, Scott? Hey, Matt just went to the Dallas Card Show yesterday. Matt, why don't you give us a recap of the show?
Yeah, no, sure. So, it's one of those things where they listed as like 700 tables, but it's probably maybe 250 to 300 dealers because a lot of people have more than one table. But like we got there on just after lunchtime and like never had this happen. We've been every month for almost a year now, but the main parking garage was full. That's actually part of the Marriott hotel where it's held, and then the overflow parking lot, which is another parking garage across the street, was almost full too. So like definitely the hobby is alive and well. What I would say though, even though there's a lot of people there, I didn't see a ton of buying. I saw a lot of shopping. Like even us, we had our video last night. We didn't pick up a ton. Probably the least we picked up at a show since maybe when we first started last spring. So the prices were very heady, I guess is what I would say. So not a whole lot of deals. Even the one Maddox card I got, I overpaid probably a few bucks just to not have to wait for eBay to get it in. I've been looking for that one anyway. I've been paid like $5 more than like eBay. So that's kind of that's where it was at. That's after negotiating it down. So
Wow.
a lot of tables I just skipped right over because the prices were like 1.5x eBay. I even sent a scan to a few of you guys about like a couple of there was that Minoso that's probably about $40 over eBay. If they wanted like $13.50 and they're going for like $900. So like a little bit on the pricey side. So we just didn't, we're waiting for a better shot. Hopefully, you would think with that bank failure on Friday, people might be a little more scared of. I guess maybe they didn't make the news in Texas yet. I would say Bay Area issue, I guess. But anyway, so. But definitely good to see it busy. A lot of females there. Probably like the first time I've seen more wives or girlfriends or whatever walking around with their husbands or boyfriends, maybe to keep an eye on the budget. Who knows? But and then a lot of kids were there too. So all in all, good show. I mean, obviously we're going to keep going, but next one's in mid-May, and then there'll be one before the National in July. But I was surprised how busy it was, given that there's two other big shows happening. Right, Nashville was this weekend, as well as Philadelphia. Right, so. Yeah, but I was just surprised how many dealers were able to be at this show, considering there's two other massive draws for them to go to. So a lot of influencers again with their cameras per usual, and their caravan of people taking pictures or recording videos. So try to steer clear of those guys. But
Any influencers we would know about that are in the card space then?
I mean, probably not the ones we follow. I'm not sure if you guys ever used to watch like Kenneth Fornos or any of those guys. Like I didn't see him there, but the people he usually goes to the shows with were there. I can't remember the guy's name. I used to watch in the very beginning, but I obviously unsubscribed a while ago, so can't even remember the gentleman's name. But he was there, and his other buddy does like the Formula One. They were both there, but I'm sure someone on here might know those folks. But yeah, quite a few. And I didn't see. I'm trying to think who else. We saw like one other person. I came up. His name escapes me. But then SGC was there. Offering a pretty good discount. They're offering 15% off grading. So I know a lot of you guys enjoy SGC. If I would know they're going to be there, I would have tried to arrange something, but I didn't know they were going to be there. Obviously, CSG was not there, which we maybe get into later. But so disappointed to see that they did not show up. But yeah, well attended for sure. Especially when it's a pretty expensive show, all things considered. Like parking's $10 and $15 a person to walk in the door. So you're talking all four of us win, so $70 before we went in. That's kind of why I felt obligated to buy something. I didn't want to go home with it. Without anything. So plus it's an hour and 15-minute drive each way, so a little bit of a time investment.
Is it a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday show, or just Saturday and Sunday?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I think there's dealers set up on Thursday night where they kind of all walk around and scour each other's tables. We've only ever been on Saturday or Sunday, and had yet to go to a trade night. We thought about maybe trying to go over there one time where we'll stay overnight on Saturday. I looked like a month ago; they were already fully booked at the hotel, though. It wasn't an option. So. Wow. I like it's pretty. Those are pretty well attended as well, from what I've seen like in prior people's videos, right? So I know Ryan Nolan, I think, was in Philly this weekend, though. I don't think he came to Dallas. I saw some of the stuff on Twitter earlier today.
Yeah, a lot of non-vintage there. I heard.
I'd say it actually. I went backwards. I feel like we went back towards like 90+% modern. So I was skipping quite a few tables, but even then you couldn't get to the tables because it was usually 2 or 3 people deep at every table. So, yeah, a lot of modern, a lot of shiny stuff, a lot of basketball, which I guess makes sense. The season's well underway at this point, getting ready for playoffs soon. So, not a lot of John Moran. I think people that had the John Moran will probably hold on to see what happens, not wanting to give it away. So I was kind of curious to see how that would be. I didn't see as much job, but I saw a lot of Gurgis Alexander. I'm trying to think of other big players. I saw a lot of people probably holding on to Curry right now too. But a lot of Kyrie Irving, just because he's obviously new to Dallas. So not surprised to see that as people trying to maybe liquidate at better prices than maybe they had a chance to in the past.
Gotcha. Well, thanks for the update.
Yep.
We're up to 11 folks in the chat, and we've been joined by Scott, Duke's baseball cards. Hodges 1455 joined us. Red Light 34. I've never seen them before. Welcome. So, and what is this? VVV. Hello. All right. Any neat pre-war finds? Is the question from him.
So, Matt, you're not really a pre-war buyer, but was there much pre-war there?
Yeah, there was actually quite a bit. So Heritage has an upcoming auction. I think this kicks off at like the third week of April, and they had a nice display of all their wares they're trying to pump up. In fact, we obviously had all the Babe Ruth cards you could imagine from Gowdy, but we saw a Ty Cobb autographed baseball that my wife thinks we need to now buy. So I might be having a bid on that come next month, but they said estimated price, and I never really bought anything from one of these big auction houses, but they said estimated price is like 8K plus, and I'm like, that's a lot of money. I'm trying to talk them out of it, but we'll see. I don't know. But yeah, there was a lot of pre-war there. I mean, obviously priced accordingly, right? So not a lot of it moving, I don't feel like, right? But so it's tough. Like I tried to find like a T205 copy just to kind of put an eye on what price is, and then I did kind of show Tyrus like the triple folders from Hassan. That you kind of get a picture, like it's actually the T205 card on the right, but then like the actual picture in the middle, that where it's like slided a third, for example.
Yeah.
To see if that's something we could maybe do, because it's a little bit less expensive to maybe live and fight another day to see if things come down ever. But I think we're kind of dead set on the gold border, so I tried to divert some money somewhere else because it's just a big investment. But yeah, I mean, it was all there. It's just a matter of how much money you brought, and if you're willing to overpay.
Yeah.
Cool. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Couple cool pre-war pickups there by Scott Stukes there. So Hack Wilson and Rogers Hornsby. So
nice. Dom, do you have one of those triple folders?
I do not. Pre-war is a new venture to me the last like year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
So I have very little pre-war in the collection, but I've been learning about more, researching and trying to figure out the pricing, because with post-war stuff, even if I don't know the pricing and there's not comps, I can kind of look at similar things and try to piece together what's a good deal on stuff. But with pre-war, there's a lot of different issues, and it's pricing that I'm not quite familiar yet with, not doing a ton of deals. So kind of dipping my toes in slowly with that.
That's cool. Why don't we bust out one of the granola grails here? John, you want to do one first, or Matt?
I can go first, because what Matt said there about attending the Dallas card show is like, wow, that's quite an expense there, because my first granola grail hill here was acquired for $72.
Nice.
So, I
give
I
us
put
some
it in
clues?
the granola grail category because I have been hunting for one for somewhere around 9 months. And this is actually turned out to be the lowest price one I have been hunting for the whole time.
Wow.
And there's been ones that have gone for higher that were unacceptable visually to me. But out of the packaging here.
So John, is it a Maze card, or is it a Hall of Famer that you didn't have?
Here, let me solo here.
I'm trying to see if I could guess it before you pull it out.
For $72, I picked up this guy here.
Nice.
My first New York Willie Mays.
It's awesome.
Which ended up a 1. I mean, if you look at it, it's similar centering to my 2.5 Ted Williams. And to me, almost similar front eye appeal there as far as picture quality. But it has this glorious back damage, which shot the price down. Because to me, this would be like a 2 or 2.5 from the front.
Yeah, it's nice.
But so
congrats, man. I know you've been looking for one of those.
Thank you.
That's a nice one. That's centered similar to my my Aaron from that same set. The centering's not great on 57 for whatever reason, right?
Yeah, a lot of them are off center. Not this severely, but
the
yeah.
picture on the front looks really good. The registration's really clean.
Yeah,
Computer.
that's what drew me in to drop and going for this one. So
Nice. Congrats, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a great card.
You still need the 58, right?
No, I've got the 58 up here, but that's the one I have that has some snow on it. And I would rather not have a snowy one, but it's kind of acceptable for now.
You're going right in order, then. That's cool.
Well, I didn't originally, but now sequentially, it's cool. It ends up being significant price jumps each year you go back now when you're dealing with the 50s cards. So
is that San Francisco or New York Mets? Is that his first?
This is his last near Giants.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, it's your first Giants card. Then nice.
Yeah, my first New York one.
That's awesome.
So,
Matt, you almost bought some Mays at the card show, right?
Yeah, my wife teased that she was. We didn't buy any yet, but she was like, I think I need to start a new collection. Help you guys start another collection. So she's thinking Willie Mays. So.
Well, some nice ESG holdered ones. That picture you showed.
Yeah, no, there were quite a few nice ones of his out there at the show. I mean, I saw a ton of 51 Bowmans. You would think for a $8,000 or $10,000 card there wouldn't be that many of them, but they were plentiful. But yeah, luckily we didn't go down that route. So I might try to ease her in with somewhere like the 58 All Star or something, which is a nice card and not too crazy, just to see how she likes it or something.
Hey, Dylan's in the chat.
What's up,
Hey, Dylan.
Yeah, if my wife was telling me to buy Mace cards, I think I'd just buy them before she changed her mind. But
oh yeah,
those things.
No, I thought about it. Like, trust me, because obviously we talked too. Like, obviously, you know, I think he's 92 years old, right? So it's not like he's, you know, getting any younger, right? So obviously, wish he's here. Hope he's, you know, long life still, right? But obviously, he's the oldest Hall of Famer, right? So
Matt, why don't you have what one Aaron or one Mays sign ball or a couple? Two.
Just one May sign ball we got back in 2011 at the Cow Palace.
And why don't you tell everybody where it's at right now?
I can show you. I'm not kidding. It's out in my storage building, or I call it a barn. It's like an outbuilding or pole building. Depends on what part of the country you live in, what they call them. But it's a big metal frame, you know, a couple 1,000 square foot building out there, shop, whatever you want to call it. But it's somewhere out there. I do not know which box it's in, amongst like 30 or 40 card boxes / sport memorabilia boxes. So yeah, one day some public shaming may help me get out there, right, Theo? That'd be good.
Who would leave such a good ball out in a shed? That's a collector.
No, trust me, we talked about that this weekend too, because my wife's got a Jerry Rice autograph helmet that's out there somewhere. I mean, there's a lot of items out there.
Look at Dom's face. Dom can't even take it.
I got like 3 Lou Brock balls, 3 Ernie Banks balls. I mean, we used to buy them in 3 once my kids were born. So it's not something I'm proud of, but it is what it is. Haven't made it out there yet.
What the hell are you doing here? Just get out there right now.
I'll be back in a couple hours, guys.
The only thing that was worse than it being out in the barn was when you were like, "How many Willie Mays balls do you have?" And he was like, "Just one."
Well, just one. No, I mean, that's all. We didn't buy 3 because that was like $350 to get an autograph, right? But it was worth it. So, but yeah, we started doing 3 after that show. That was my wife left. We should have bought 3 of all of them. I'm like, oh, of course, no problem. So after that, we got 3 of everyone: 3 Sandberg, 3 Banks, 3 Dawson, 3 Lou Brock. I'm trying to think who else we met after that. But yeah, quite a few autographs after that still. So all those are triplicate somewhere.
Dom, I'm not an expert on autographs, but if they were in a hot, humid area in Texas, could the signature start smudging, or would he be good?
I mean, I don't know what Willie signed it with. That definitely could be a factor in it, but
that could be interesting.
Heat's one thing, but moisture and water is a much bigger threat to the autographs than heat. So I'm hoping they're okay, but Matt's gonna have to find out on his own.
If you ever see like a frowny face video, like with a thumbnail, you know what happened, right? I don't ever use thumbnails, so it'd have to be something dramatic to get me to use one. But other than CSG's failing me, which I didn't do, obviously, not that creative. But the Yeah, I hope they're okay. They're all like those little ball cubes, that the plastic ones, but I don't know if that helps or hurts. May actually trap moisture. Who knows? We'll see. One day I'll find out. One day I'll make it a priority.
That's cool.
Yeah, Mike said Mays used to be $30.
Wow.
Oh
Jeez.
wow.
That's crazy. Wow. What? I don't even know what do you guys think he goes for on like eBay now? Like probably 250 to 300. I'm guessing for a signed ball, right? For eBay.
I think so. Yeah, it's more about the experience. A lot of times those guys, they charge more than you could get it on eBay. It's always cheaper to do. I think Jay talked about that in your video, your interview with him or discussion with him, right, Theo? Like,
Yeah.
you're paying for the experience of having like 1 or 2 minutes with one of the greatest players of all time. So.
No, I was just thinking how much money you have out in that shit. That's all.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, we wouldn't sell like the Maze. We only have one Ripken too, so I wouldn't sell those. But
Right.
the triplicate, I'm not sure if I need 3 of all those. So I'm just not a big auto guy, to be honest. Which I think that's pretty evident, right? I only have the 2 Aaron, which I mean that's 2 more than I said I was going to buy, but I'm not out there actively looking for autograph cards.
And how well locked up is that shed that's behind your house? That you put the address up earlier.
Not that well locked. Come on, guys.
No trip.
Yeah. Come on,
Not that
John.
well. Not that well. It's it's fine. Have at it.
All right. Well, since we got you on the hot seat, Matt, you've been talking about CSG a lot lately. So why don't you tell everybody what's going on with you and CSG?
Well, I'm kind of having some. I hate to use the word second guessing, but I am having some thoughts around what I want to do. So the fact of the matter is they've stopped actually populating how many cards are even getting graded. They haven't kept up with the register recently. It's been almost a month now. I think they've been down. I guess additionally, it's not seeing a ton of cards out there in the wild. So again, we go to every one of the Dallas card shows now since last April. So I guess a year now, and just don't see a ton of them out there. I saw one guy that had a table of like 15 or 18 of them yesterday, and one other guy had a table of like 2. So I was kind of teasing with these guys yesterday before I went that like if I didn't see 25 CSG cards, I was going to think about switching. The other big issue I have with them right now is really about the oversized cards, which I've tended to kind of fall in love with lately in terms of the oddball side of things. And there's just no announcement or news on when they're going to grade them. But obviously SGC and PSA grade those, right? So now you're going to pay for it. Obviously, we talked about that too. But I just want to have some of these bigger ones protected. So kind of a tease about one of these items here that I'm going to show here in a minute. But yeah, I'd like to get it, behind, I guess, protected. Not even so much the grade or authentication, more just protection for these big ones.
So I guess why don't we get some chat involvement? So your dilemma is how many cards would you have to cross over to PSA if you wanted to do it?
Yeah, so I have about 300, right at 350, like 352 or something slabs with CSG now.
Oh my god!
So I've already kind of and sadly I've already crossed over a bunch of cards, like maybe half that order I showed off back in November. So like I've crossed over like 25 cards, including some pretty expensive ones like 54 Mays, 54 Williams, 54. What else did I cross? I'm trying to think what else. Jackie Robinson. So like to cross it back seems like a fool's errand, but I don't know. So, but the problem is I'm just kind of stalled on these sets. There's not a whole lot of product out there, right? The 54 top setup, I haven't acquired anything since early January. So there's just none out there that I need. So I want a bit to have uniformity, but I guess I'm either going to have to resolve myself to being a Frankenstein collector, which I'd rather not do, or spend a bunch of money either selling and then reacquiring or crossing over. So kind of at a crossroads here, but I definitely don't want to keep buying a bunch more CSG slabs if I'm not going to stay with them, right? So we'll see. But I might have, I can always just cross over the playing days, and I have like 80, I think 81 or 82, I think I told you all. So that'd be a couple thousand to probably cross all of them, because obviously the rookie card would cost more. There'd be an upcharge in that one, and there'd be an upcharge a couple other ones that are higher value, but we'll see. Or there's just the thought of just buying new ones and selling these, and let me feel the secondary market effects of having a CSG slab, which I think we all kind of know isn't great, right? So it helped me get a lot of good deals on the buying side, but on the selling side, it's not the greatest.
What do you think Dom?
Oh, I'll happily take Matt's discounts with the CSG slab for sure. But honestly, it's just something where if the uniformity is that important to you, it's fine. To me, I don't care all that much about it. I just want to get a nice card for a good price. So if that's in a slab, in a top loader, something that I need to buy a special case for if it's oversized, like I just do it and figure it out later. But yeah, definitely feel for you with that much kind of stuff. It's a little overwhelming for sure.
Yep.
I don't know if Orlando's still in here, but obviously Orlando's big into the PSA registry. He got his Mantles PSA. I guess Orlando, if you're out there, I'd love to hear your feedback. If you were Matt, would you cross over 81 playing days Hank Aaron cards, and then Matt could go on the registry and have a registry of Hank Aaron, or would you stick with CSG and have your oversized stuff still with PSA? So I'm curious to see what Orlando thinks, being somebody who slabs his cards. But what do you have an opinion on it, John? What he should do?
Well, Matt totally willing to spread his money around fairly quickly. But that's a huge investment to suddenly just change your slabs for the cards. So
Yeah.
I think at this point, you either just decide to start collecting a different company, or you ride or die with CSG. So,
Yep.
Cross
No, I got
over that,
the one you
man.
brought, or whatever they say, right?
I like Joe's idea.
I mean, how many cards could you buy for the amount of money you'd have to spend for that crossover? So,
Well, that's just it, right? That's what I've been contemplating, right? I could get like a 51 Bowman Maze for the price of like sending all 350 in, right?
well, so I was wondering, what's your Ty Cobb budget would be equivalent to that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, no, exactly. That's what I'm up against, right? So it comes down to like, you just buy new and try to either sell these off and hope you make better than submitting that. 'Cause what I don't want to do too is if I cross them, I'm not going to have them for 3 to 6 months or whatever they're held hostage for at PSA, right? So
Matt, you're not going to sell these. You can't even send prizes out for your contests. Come on, dude.
Come on.
What the heck are you talking
I
about?
saw Dom's done a video. He's got a prize.
Oh my god! Can you guys really think Matt could sell cards? Come on.
No, I was talking to Mike from earlier today. Mike Sexton, Kentucky. I know the name's changed. It used to be Knife Works, right? But I know it's changed. But he has a whole setup in his house, like with a scale and everything. I need to get one of those setups where I have like the actual. If I could ship it from here and just put it in my mailbox, I might be more apt to get things out the door. So I'm look into that.
So we need a quick chat update. Welcome, Drew. Welcome, Doug. Welcome, Jake.
Theo's not convinced.
Orlando did respond to say earlier he was a PSA fanboy, but not anymore. So
I think he's CSG, right? Orlando now? Well, or SGC, excuse me.
Yeah, he is. I think he doesn't like they don't have a registry, which I think we all don't like that. But if we're caught up, I was going to let Dom get into one of his cards he wanted to show off if he's ready.
Yeah, I mean, I got some cards in from Brian Roth, and I got some Yankee contributors, in the words of Adam. Cards Take series from Yanks.
Is that the
Baseball
1960?
highlight. 1960.
Yeah, the bigger ones, right?
These are the bigger ones, yep. And then pick off N series Cards Take Yanks 4-1. So
nice.
I had to get these. I had talked about the Yankees losing, really great stories about old World Series, and they were very affordable in the name of Granola Grails. So
are those blank backs?
Yeah, they're blank backs. They're kind of like exhibits, but they have like a newspaper front instead of just a blank black and white image.
I've never seen them. How did people buy? Did they come in packs, or do you not know, or how did you get them?
I didn't look up the distribution on those, but I would assume that the NU company, because in 61 they did like regular size cards, so I'd assume that they had some sort of like, whether it was in a machine or pack distribution there in the early 60s, but they didn't keep making cards for a long time.
Yeah, those new Scoops cards are really nice, and they have some really good action. Like the Mantle card looks really good. There's a Babe Ruth card I like a lot. I think they're pretty cool. They're very cheap.
Oh, very affordable for sure.
Yeah.
What's going on with this comment here, Dom?
What do you say?
I put in quotes underneath my name, Hall of Fame type collector, because Jake just loves to beat that dead horse. But he wants Dave to do that in his absence because he has a paper to write, being a nerd, getting another degree.
Better Jake than us. I can't do school anymore.
Is that because he makes fun of you because you use that term, or who came up with the term? I guess.
No, so Hall of Fame type collector is like kind of a hobby term, but Jake wants to put everything in a box. He's a spreadsheet guy, like very like to the book. And when he's like, "What would you describe your collecting as?" and I didn't really give him an answer because I like to kind of have my eggs in many baskets. And he was just like, "Oh yeah, you're a type collector, a Hall of Fame type collector." And he just has said in every single video he's mentioned me. He's commented on all my videos, every live stream I'm on. Even if he won't watch it, like he's doing right now, he'll pop in and say Hall of Fame type collector. So
that's funny.
Yeah, you'll buy almost anything, kind of like Picker Jim.
More or less, and I lean towards the Hall of Fame because I love the history of baseball.
So to kind of change gears a little bit, I see Terry's in here, and if nobody saw his newest video, he has a really good video about his heroes growing up. He calls out some different players that he grew up watching, and how when you're a child, it's totally different, and you look up to those players. I don't know. Dom's shaking his head. He probably saw it, right, Dom?
No, I saw it, but I'm laughing at Jake and Josh in the chat too.
Hey, speaking of heroes growing up, happy birthday, Dale Murphy.
Yeah, there you go.
John let me know before the live stream that it was his birthday. Dale Murphy autograph right there too.
That's awesome.
Happy birthday to the maybe future Hall of Famer.
Braves Hall of Famer, at least, right?
So John, when you were growing up, Dale Murphy was one of your heroes?
Oh yeah. I had the full on. I don't know if you're familiar, the white bordered Sports Illustrated posters they put out in the 80s of like every major sports figure basically had one of those. That held the place of honor over the head of my bed for the entirety of my childhood. So
wow,
he was my
cool.
guy.
That's cool. I think Dave said a good point. He said, "John, how many shirts do you have that are for YouTube shirts?"
Well, that's all I buy anymore. I get to work from home 4 days a week, so I'm, not wearing almost nothing but t-shirts most of the time. So
that's awesome.
Does anyone say anything on your Zoom calls about, hey, like what shirt you got on there? I see Willie Mays' name at the top. Does anyone say anything or no?
I am fortunate that we, the vast majority of the time, don't turn on cameras. So.
Okay.
If you turn on your camera and they saw all the cards, would they be like, "What's going on?" or would it be normal? It wouldn't be a big deal, I guess.
It wouldn't be that big of a deal.
Okay. So my hero growing up was Jerome Bettis, and this is a shout out to Orlando. Orlando collects the goal line cards signed. So I got my first goal line card. It's not signed, but these are very cheap. They're out of 5,000. And they're very similar to Perez Steel cards, but for football. Basically, they did all the Hall of Famers, and I just think they use great images. So shout out to Orlando for calling those out. But when I was growing up, I used to have a Jerome Bettis jersey, and I used to run around my house with a football and put couch pillows up, and I would run through them like I was running through the line. And when Terry did the video about heroes, it made me think about that, think about who I looked up to and how I tried to emulate them and things like that. And I was curious to hear what you guys, if maybe Matt or Dom, you guys could think off the top of your head of any heroes you tried to emulate as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was obviously Ryan Sandberg on the baseball side of things, but then being a Notre Dame fan, obviously, when I was a little older, Jerome Bettis was the man, right? So Tim Brown before that, There's a lot of good players in Notre Dame in the late 80s, early 90s. So,
That's
Hey,
cool.
new additions to the chat. I see Peter B, Lou Rock TV, Ziggy No. Welcome.
even guys.
Got a packed house.
What's up, guys? Dom, who'd you look up to and try to emulate? Or...
Yeah, I mean, it kind of comes back to the card that I showed. Albert Pujols and David Ortiz were kind of my two guys that I'd always watch. And even though I was a Red Sox fan and David Ortiz was making all those clutch hits, like Albert Pujols just on the other side of the plate, just seeing two guys, a lefty and a righty, that could just intimidate anybody on the mound and just crush home runs and do things the right way, be good teammates. It was really awesome for sure watching them.
Nice. John, do you think David Ortiz used steroids?
I thought he got busted for it once, didn't he? I mean,
did he get busted? Or Matt, did he get busted?
He was just named. He was just named.
He was named in that one book, I think, right? Was it Canseco's book or was it somewhere else? Or the Balco report?
I mean, he seems to me like a case like more similar if he was using to McGuire, where it was to keep him healthy and playing every day if he was using, as opposed to needing it to suddenly be strong. Like, Sammy Sosa went from barely any home runs to 60. So
Dom, did it hurt when your childhood hero was using steroids?
I mean, he was named in that report like very early on, and then he went over a decade with them testing and suspending people all around him, never tested positive, never served a suspension. So to me, I have zero problem with him being named on a list. They wanted to have universal testing and trying to get away with not suspending players for using steroids, but they sent out all these miscellaneous tests and said, hey, if you test positive for this wide list of substances and so many players do that, then baseball will have to start cracking down on it because it's a real problem. And David Ortiz is one of the names that got leaked from that. And so far, everything that's been happening, the commissioner even said that he's exonerated from that naming. It was that long ago. There's no evidence that he used anything illegal. So I'm good with it.
Do you think he's mad that now that they have the pitch clock? Because he would have given from playing like 7 minutes a game to playing like 4.5 minutes a game. He'd barely been on the field. Not more putting his jersey on at that point, hardly. His DHs, right? Kidding.
Well, what did he play, like 5 minutes a game, right?
I don't know. That couldn't have been much, right? 1 out of 18 batters go to the batter box.
He played all the minutes, man. Come on.
I'm giving you a hard time. He was awesome, right? There are a lot of great DHs over the years. He's obviously one of the best, right? Best two or three.
He is the best.
Okay.
Sorry, Edgar Martinez fan.
I like Edgar.
His numbers are just better.
In big moments too in the playoffs, right? Obviously. So.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there we go.
I'm a hard time.
Drew's in there. He's trying to goat me, I think. He wants to know my first card. That's fine, Drew. I'll show it. I'm not ashamed. It's my Barry Bonds card, of course.
Nice.
My grandpa bought me this, Drew. That's messed up, man. Get me
See,
involved.
Barry Bonds didn't serve a suspension for steroids either.
Well, yeah, he was using the same stuff Ortiz was. He couldn't trace it. What were you gonna do?
He got a lot bigger than Ortiz did.
Yeah, Ortiz is already big.
Now we're gonna say who got bigger? Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And Von Rodriguez got pretty big too, and he made it in the Hall of Fame also, right? So.
Okay. All right. We'll change the topic. I don't want Dom to leave. So, hey, Matt's got 2 Granola Grail cards, which are budget Grail cards. If anybody came late, so Matt, you want to open the lesser of the 2?
Yeah, this is in terms of we're gonna go by kind of like the price paid. This one's even less expensive, so we're obviously really walking a fine line here on price. But I got into these big oversized cards last year, and I've been looking for these J Publishing ones, and I thought I bought one. And then I think I actually ended up with a different card. I got like the team card on accident. So this one actually was an accident too. They labeled it as 62, but it's actually the 58 to 60 or whatever. They have like time ranges, right? But this is a J Publishing, just to print like a print card or whatever. I don't know. They're not. I mean, nothing crazy. There's tons of them out there, but they're really inexpensive. But I just like the big pictures of the players, right? So even bigger than the exhibits. I think there's just nice cards. It's a blank back, but there's nothing on them, right? So I obviously want to get it sent in to see if it's real and get it protected. But that was the first one.
Nice. That's nice. So that's the one that they listed wrong, or that's the correct.
Well, I had another one that was listed wrong. This is the second one where I thought I was buying because again, I didn't know a ton about them until I started looking into them, and then I saw this one was like a best offer, but I looked it up right away this time to make sure I was getting what I thought I was going to get. So because there's just a ton of them out there. There's like a couple of them that have batting poses, and then this is like the neck up pose, whatever they're calling it, and like or chest up or whatever they call it in the registry. Not CSGs, obviously they don't grade these, but so anyway, I was just trying to start scooping some of these up because I just think they're really nice pictures. So kind of like the modern stuff. I like the modern big cards as well, right? So this kind of almost right back in like December time frame. I tried buying the oversized, and now I haven't really slowed down. It's probably about half what I buy is oversized cards now.
Those were regional, right? Is that what you said?
No, they had these for a lot of players. They would just be issued with a team. They get like a team set. So like a lot of teams have these.
Okay.
I don't know all off the top of my head, but there's they just been like team sets. So
Gotcha. Yeah, that's nice. So I'm guessing you're going to grade that with PSA, right?
I don't know. I couldn't figure out the website to even submit it. I looked to see how much it would even cost. Like I'm not tech savvy. I need to have some. Maybe Ty can figure it out for me. We'll have to get a submission in. But then, just like CSG, I know we didn't talk about this. Really want to talk about them, but you have to pay annual fees, which is another, I guess, pro of like SGC. There's no annual fee that I'm aware of. So CSG is like the one I'm in is like $150 a year, and then PSA is $100 a year before you even pay for any grading, right? So it is definitely something to consider. At least if you want to get the discount prices. Maybe now you don't have to do it, but you don't get the value prices, whatever value. So $19 a card, right? But these are probably like 40 or 50. I'm assuming to grade, probably what SGC charges. So I'll pay more for grading than the card cost.
But what you said what PSA was a monopoly, and it's like a corporation taking it. Like I forget. What did you say about them?
What's that?
What did you say about PSA? That they had a monopoly and you didn't like it?
Well, they do have a monopoly, right? They can literally get away with it, right? They get away with literally holding people's cards hostage for 18 months, and people still irrationally still grade with them, right? So trust me, I'm not the biggest fan. I do like the registry, which is why that's why I chose CSG over SGC, right? Because they had a registry and SGC hadn't brought theirs back yet. So
yeah,
that's the main reason I chose them, because obviously cheaper, and I didn't want to use PSA. You know, you try to be different, but then sometimes you like regret it later, right? So I may end up being in the regretful camp. We'll see.
All right. John, what do we got going on in the chat? Anything new?
Scott apparently has graded the oversized things with PSA through a bulk submitter. So
ooh. Yeah, Scott, I have to let me know on that. That'd be. Do you use someone up in Minnesota, or is that someone you have locally when you're down here this way? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I told the guys I have a submitter I use for SGC, and they've been grading my oversized cards for the normal $20 price, and they finally caught on to me and sent me an email and said if I want to grade my oversized Clemente card, it would be $60. So obviously I told them no thanks. The card wasn't even $60. It was the Dexter Press one. So some food for thought. If anybody out there is trying to get oversized cards from SGC, just watch. You might finally have to pay the full price depending on where you go. John, was we caught up with the chat? Was that it?
It's a Minnesota guy.
Thanks, Scott.
We've got people commenting about the World Baseball Classic game going on.
Mm.
Yeah, Venezuela's lineup's crazy. I mean, their lineup's
Puerto
ridiculous.
Rico. But,
so I wanted to I really wanted to highlight some shows I saw this week and some stuff if nobody's seen it. The one that I wanted to talk about next was kind of in the similar vein of card grading, but eBay was the Doug situation. So Doug had a video that came out yesterday, and it kind of went viral because like 3 different big channels shared it. One of them was Mangini, and basically, the video's already at over 1,000 views. But basically, Doug Doug bought a card on eBay, and it went to eBay authentication, and then it came to him, and the picture didn't match the card. Basically, they took a picture in bad lighting, and they hid a lot of the problems with the card. So instead of going straight to the seller like you normally would, eBay said, you have to work through us. We authenticated it. So eBay kind of, gave Doug the runaround and offered him $100 for a $240 card. And it was a pretty bad situation. What did you guys, I kind of looked through the chat on it, and I know a lot of us hate eBay authentication. It makes it take longer to get your cards. They're looking at something that's already graded. Before, even if you kind of got scammed by a seller, eBay would kind of make it right, it seemed like. So they kind of already had something in place. But after if any of you guys watched Doug's video, what are you guys' opinions on what happened?
I think it's crap. Because now, with eBay telling him that their authentication process then makes it so the seller's good if it passes authentication. And they passed it, that it's what it was supposed to be, but apparently they didn't compare it all to how it was presented.
Right.
And I mean, like even the card I showed earlier, if they did some tricky photography stuff, anybody would know that this alone would make this card a 1. And if they did something tricky with the front photography, this thing could look like complete garbage on the front, potentially, and still be a 1 grade. I mean, 1 has the largest range of appearance out there.
Right.
And, I only wanted it because the front looked good. And that was the same case for Doug. So he's not getting what he was supposed to get by the picture. So
what do you think, Dom?
Yeah, I unfortunately agree with Orlando. I definitely think it's a messed up situation, and that if eBay's taking it into their hands, they should offer the buyer their money back instead of giving them a crappy offer like that. But it's something where if the pictures aren't good, that should already be a red flag when we're buying a card. And then asking the seller to give us better pictures, I think it's the safe way to play it. Sometimes you might miss out on a deal that way, but it's just better off because lighting and different things can really make a card look different.
Yeah, I know John kind of went the other way with a Maze pickup he had, where he bought a Kellogg's card and the picture was all blurry. The picture was all blurry, and he quote unquote took advantage of a bad picture, and this was almost like the opposite situation, unless I think we might all agree it seems like the seller was purposeful in the picture they took, which kind of hurts a little bit. So
there's no way I get that raw for 40 if it had good pictures.
Right. So I guess you kind of like Dom saying, normally you ask for better pictures if it was a buy it now at $80, but since it ended up going for 40, you were willing to take the risk. So I guess it kind of played into your hands. Matt, do you have any other opinions on it that kind of weren't set?
Yeah, no, look at it. Obviously Doug's one of our friends, right? So I hate to see it happen to any of us, right? But like I do feel like there's a little bit of buyer beware. Like obviously we all love the times when we win. Like he's got one of the best examples of winning I've ever seen with a Williams card that he got from the Liebeck card. I think that he got like for a really good steal. But I think I would have probably taken $100 and just resold it, even I'm not good at shipping apparently. Kidding. But because he probably would have at least broke even, not to deal with this back and forth forever. That's just me though, because I'm sure at least even with a good picture you could sell for 150, right, or 170. I think he paid 270 or whatever it was. But anyway, so someone's going to still want it for that price. It's Tack Wilson. It's 33 Gaudi, right, or whatever it was, right. So I think someone's going to still want it. They won't care about condition. So. Like to me, though, that's why I'm not a huge fan of buying ones. I almost rather just have an authentic than a 1. I don't know why. Like 1, you know, has got some serious damage. But it depends. Like you get good ones, like obviously, like I know we've seen it once or twice, but Adam's like usual that has the pinhole, right? Is a good example of a 1 that I'd love to have, right? But if it's not a clear picture, I'm going to ask for extra pictures. But but I know it's tough because I know he's frustrated just because the rigmarole around the hiding behind authentication. That's where I do side 100% win with him because just because that just means the case is real and that the it's not cracked or been like the frosting or whatever where they've almost tried to replace the card, but they should still stand behind the picture guarantee or at least the buyer definitely intentionally did it, right? We know that, but
yeah.
Like if it was $1,000, I'd definitely be like, obviously it'd be a different story. But I think this one I would have probably just taken the 100 and moved and sold it and moved on.
Welcome, Andrew.
But with your comment about authentic's interesting. I do agree. You can usually get an authentic card better than a one because it was trimmed. It has a pinhole. In my opinion, I personally wouldn't buy a card that was authentic trimmed. I would buy a card that was authentic with a pinhole. Are you guys similar or you guys disagree? Like, what's your opinion on those two things, I guess?
Well, I think Adam's pinhole is a one, but like in terms of authentic, like some things just get like the hand cut. I guess the ones I'm okay with being authentic. Like if it's a bazooka or if it's our favorite Jello cards or postcards, right? Like those are fine, right? Because those for sure were altered, right? Depends on how well it was cut, as in terms of if it gets a grade or authentic. But
right.
But yeah, it just depends what it is. If it's obviously rare and there aren't that many of them, then I'm fine buying any grade, even a one. Like for me, the Gaudy cards look okay with some damage, but like obviously that bottom left corner would drive me crazy. The staining in the top right, I could probably forgive the staining, but that bottom left is pretty bad. And that's where the real overexposure issue was that he's upset about. I definitely I'm frustrated for him. It's a crappy deal. I think they gave him a decent chance to at least come out of it even, while having to keep fighting that. I probably would have just done that and moved on. But I get trying to like fight the good fight, but I'm just afraid they're going to come back and tell me they're going to give him nothing, and I'll be stuck with a loss. But hopefully not.
Yeah, I kind of feel like you're a people pleaser, Matt, and like
yeah.
I kind of agree, like, oh, I'll take the $100 and hope to break even and sell it myself, and then eBay gets another 15% of this resale. So
Exactly.
we're giving eBay more money back when they obviously aren't trying to. Here's my other thing though: is if I worked at eBay in whatever I guess it's called customer support or whatever it's called there, like I would look at Doug's probably 100% score, look at his purchase history, and say, well, this is a legit guy who's never had issues with us before. Maybe we should try to take care of him. You know what I mean? I know there's black and white rules that they probably established, but sometimes you need to give special treatment to people who, are your best customers, So I kind of have a problem with how they're treating him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess it comes down to value in your time, I guess. I guess it's where probably not in my barn looking for cards, I guess, right? So it's down to that for me.
Dom, if you had something to say, I don't want to not give you a chance.
No, I mean, in terms of the eBay thing, I feel bad for Doug. He's a friend of all of us, but I think that is just a terrible situation that could have been avoided, but it is what it is now. And I do think that Matt's thing is, if they're not going to do the right thing and fully refund you, then just take what they're offering and sell it off of eBay. Don't give them that percentage when you sell the card separately. But in terms of the authentic cards, I agree. The things that are hand cut that usually get authentic are completely fine. But if it's a card that I can afford to get 1, 2, 3, 4, even higher, I don't want it altered. But if it's something that's expensive and I can only really afford it in an authentic grade, I'm completely fine with that because the keyword is authentic. I still own the card, even if it isn't in the perfect shape or just how it was when it came out of the pack. So it's very situational on the card.
Yeah. I think I agree with Orlando. I'm perfectly fine with minimum size. That's how it was produced at the factory. I could totally get on board with minimum size. I think the cards being cut off of a post serial or somewhere they're supposed to be cut out of bazooka. I mean, that's it. That's the card. I don't really. If it's authentic, it's authentic. It's how it was made to be cut out. So I agree with that. So we have a couple more cards still to show. John has one. Matt has a bombshell. Matt, you want to show the camera again the last card we're going to open today? What the box looks like?
Well, I forgot I had one other one. I don't know which one you want me to do next. This one's a pretty good one. I can do this one, although it's interesting. I just opened it out of the outside label. It says, you guys probably see the camera. It says miscut, so it makes it. I'm a little concerned what's in here now. Maybe I'll be the next one with a complaint around eBay. We'll see.
Well, why don't we leave that as a cliffhanger? Dom, do you still have anything you wanted to show?
Yeah, I have the 2 bigger cards from Brian that came in. I don't know if I should show them together, separately, whatever you want. Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, let's let Dom show off what he's got.
So this is a set that I've been wanting to add to the collection for a while, and through Brian was able to get a few of them. So these are the 1971 Topps Greatest Moments.
Nice.
And this is Veda Pinson, and it's his baseball thrills, leading the majors in hits in his first full season. And then what's cool about these is kind of like the 64 Topps Giants. They're a newspaper back, but depending on the team, they have like the Cincinnati Post for the Reds here on the back of Veda Pinson. And it talks about him topping 200 hits in 1959, his first full season. And these are just real tough with the black borders in 1971. They were a test issue that was released in New York, and there's not a ton of them out there. So stumbling upon them, I had to pounce. But the big one that I had to show, being on here with John, is I got the Willie Mays.
Oh,
Nice.
And this one talks about his 3,000th hit, which is extra special, that huge milestone. At the time, he was only, I think, the 6th or 7th player to do it or something like that. It's just really awesome. So,
wow. Did you
San Francisco Chronicle on the back.
How did you get those from eBay or where'd you find them at?
I got them through Brian.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was really awesome. I've wanted the Yaz in that set, but I mean, when you get Willie Mays, like, it's a pretty good consolation prize, you know.
That maze is sick. John, did you ever have that maze on your bucket list, or is this like the first time you've seen it?
It's the first time I've ever seen it.
He's on eBay. Okay.
he's saving the search right now. What price range do the mazes usually go for? Like ballpark for John?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a pricey card. It's a test issue, oversized, black borders. Stuke said in the chat that there's an Oliva PSA 7 at his LCS for $700.
Oh wow.
They can get pretty pricey in higher grade. In low to mid grade, you're still talking a couple $100.
Wow.
So
I hope there's not an Aaron card in there. I don't even know if there is.
I'm not gonna tell you.
Okay, I'll have to go look.
But you can assume they were celebrating their in 71. They were celebrating their 20th anniversary Topps. So they were just showing some of the greatest moments for the active players, and they're all guys that were stars at that time. A lot of future Hall of Famers as well.
I've never seen a Clemente, so hopefully somebody will say I'm wrong, but I've never seen it.
I don't think he's in it.
I don't think so either. I think I would know about it, but who knows? All right. Well, that's good to know. Just save me some money. Oh man. John, before we get to Matt, with the miscut, is anything going on in the chat you want to highlight, or we good?
We got Chris from Missouri arrived. Hey, Chris.
What's up, Chris?
Hey, Chris.
And just lots of people saying that's a tough, rare set there. You're pulling those cards, Dom. So a lot of people congratulating you on your pickups there. So
And I appreciate it. That they definitely are tough cards. And when Brian presented with me with the opportunity to get a couple, I was really stoked because he knows that I love that set, and we've talked about it a few times in the past.
But clearly, multi-$100 oddballs are not exactly on my radar since I'm pulling, $72 granola grails here. So.
It's fine too, because you're an SGC man, and the one card that doesn't pop in a tux is the black border.
Yeah, sure.
So on if you're looking to get an SGC version of this, it's gonna hide the borders a little bit, which is unfortunate, but everything else looks good in the touch.
And are those slightly oversized too?
They are, yeah. So just to give an example of a regular size card.
Yeah.
Mm. So I'm sure there's a lot of condition issues with them being bigger.
Yeah, and the distribution on these is kind of up in the air. They were said to be in 2-card packs in the New York area, but no one really quite knows, and they're kind of hard to find all over the place. So
nice. Well, I don't know if you have one of these, Dom, but these are out of 99. Super rare.
Oh, it's shiny. Is that shiny or that's the holder it's in?
I think it might. I don't know. You'd have to ask the company that created them. But nobody will ever have a 21, right, John?
It is the only 21.
Did you pre-label the rest?
I have the whole stack already signed and numbered.
Okay. All right. I'm just keeping you straight. I better not see another 21 out there.
But I saved myself the 1 of 1 because that makes it really valuable, I hear.
Oh, yeah.
eBay 101. Nice.
So 1 of 1 right there. That's going to be thousands of dollars someday for my family. So.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. All right. Well, why don't we give Matt the floor? He's got a before he has the big reveal later. He's got an envelope that says miscut. Let's see what that is.
Yeah.
But hey, here's the comment of the night right there.
Laugh out loud.
Not that one. This one. There we go.
All right.
Funny.
Gosh, do I hate when they put it in plastic bags. So this one was too big to get the normal eBay authentication blue thing. Well, the item itself isn't that big, but all right. I know Dom has at least one of these. I've seen him show off.
Oh,
62
nice.
Tops Bucks. Thank you.
Right.
wow. This is just the appetizer? Oh my god.
This is the appetizer.
Wow. Can you get the front closer?
Is that better?
Yeah,
Well, that's not a cheap card.
Jeez.
Yeah, my Carly Stremski is an 01. That's a nice one.
Sorry about too far over.
Wow.
Anyway, so yeah, it's there's a handful of them graded higher, not a ton. Maybe I don't know, just a few. So I just happened upon it on eBay one night. But I've been looking. So I lost one of these back in like November, December, and I think I was talking to you. Maybe Dom sent me a link about one too, and we were talking about it at one point a few months back, and obviously I've seen at least one or two of those on your video. So been looking for this one. It's obviously is a little miscut, but I don't know. It's fine. I'll take it. Good enough for me. So
John's got the cap on. I think he's trying to be Prison Mike again.
Uh-oh.
Don't drop the soap.
Prison Mike or Prism Mike?
I'm just trying to please my audience here. I want a signed 3D 80s kid tinfoil hat. So from
So I need to get a Clemente box, but does anybody know how did Top sell those?
I
haven't researched it since I picked up my Yaz. But
eBay sells these, Theo. That's all I know. No kidding.
yes, eBay does sell them.
Normally, I do. It's kind of weird. I kind of go backwards. I usually buy the.
Here's your
Clemente
answer.
card, and then I figure it out.
those were 62
Yeah,
inserts.
Orlando said they were inserts. It's interesting that they were inserted, but most of them are folded, so that does make sense. It would fit in a pack then that way.
Okay, they were folded in half. Okay.
Yeah, I
A lot of
noticed
them
that
are
on their registry they do have folded and unfolded. And this one happens to be unfolded, but they didn't label it as such. So I'm sure for another $60 or whatever, they probably put unfolded, but who knows how many are really out there of each
That's
variety.
probably even tougher. That probably wasn't in a pack then.
Yeah. Wow. That's a crazy appetizer, man. I can't wait till you open the box at the end. This is gonna be crazy. Jeez.
I gotta make sure I'll start getting it ready, so it won't take as long.
So, John, are you?
Yeah.
I see you're busy with the chat. Are you ready for your last card, or should we tease that more and wait for that one?
I don't know. It's right here, but well, I got a little appetizer pickup that it's just a weird one I got for fun. But
Oh, Mr. Rogers.
no, it's something else. Anybody know who that is?
Is that Willy Wonka?
Alan something on the image.
For a while in 7th grade or so, my favorite show, watching it on like Nick at Night, was Mr. Ed.
Ah,
And that is Alan Young.
Is that his rookie card?
I have no idea. It's what it was a penny arcade distributed thing.
Oh, it was an exhibit.
So it's saying it's from the 40s or 50s with no definite year. So
Okay, essentially an exhibit card.
so pre Mr. Ed, which would have been in the early 60s.
Can you give us a Mr. Ed impression?
It's been a while. Oh, Wilbur.
Oh, that's great.
Tom has no idea what we're talking about. I'm kidding.
I actually do. The talking horse.
Okay. Nick and Knight. Nick and Knight's your friend.
Oh, yeah.
That's great, John.
And I actually got to meet him because my older sister, after high school, was in this thing in Sacramento that they do during the summers called Music Circus, where they do these big, like Broadway style productions in a tent. And the summer she was interning there, they did the Little Whorehouse in Texas, and he played the sheriff in that production. And after the show, she took me backstage to meet him. And so, and that was my favorite TV show at the time she was doing that. So.
What was it just a general, hey, nice to meet you, or did you guys talk, or what happened?
Well, I asked him how Mr. Ed was doing. So.
That's great.
But
are you gonna get that slabbed up, John?
that's what I was wondering. What is the maximum size before upcharging? Because this thing's 3.5 by 5.5. So I would like it in a slab if it's not $50.
Like I said, they did not charge me for my cons card. So maybe check what a cons card size is. It is bigger than a normal size card. And I had a Pirates team card that they didn't upcharge me for, and they're kind of wide. They're wider. They're kind of like a square. So I'm not sure though. That's a great question. Does anybody have any? I brought up a couple YouTube videos that I saw this week that were really, really good. Does anybody have any content that they saw this week that they wanted to maybe bring up that was give them a shout out? Radio silence.
Sprung it on us.
Next time I need a heads up, Theo. I need time to think of
prepared.
I wasn't prepared for this one, Theo.
Well, I'm sorry. Next time I'll give you a heads up. Jeez.
Yeah.
I was looking up the size thing for John.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Oversized items are larger than 3.5 by 5.5. So if that is 3.5 by 5.5, I think you count for the regular service.
Okay, cool. Even though it's compared to a normal slab itself, it completely overlaps it. I have
Yeah, I've mostly been watching a lot of the VRs for I know Shane has a contest going. A lot of you guys have been doing VRs for Shane. Been enjoying those. And then obviously Drew, our friend Drew's got a contest going, VR going thing as well. So I've been watching those mostly. All the video responses to those channels.
And maybe some responses for Rick at Vintage Oddball Card.
That one too. Yeah, I'm still waiting for the X-Files to come back out again for the 3rd installment. Who's next?
Nice.
Oh yeah. For anybody who hasn't seen it, here's Rick. So
nice. John, is anybody else came forward with some other leads for you for other episodes yet, or not really?
Not yet. But if anybody catches their eye on a card that shows more evidence of Immortals Among Us, please let me know. So.
I think Dominic's a good candidate. We just got to find a picture somewhere. The amount of knowledge he has on vintage, man. I don't know. I think
Seems suspect.
Yeah, very sus. So, John, why don't we, if you're fine with it, why don't we break out your last card?
All right. Yeah, clearly one person didn't understand what size bubble mailer was needed, but This one here is my granola grail number 2. Also been hunting for a while. It is right here.
Wow.
Man, you're making progress in these cards, John. Now you're down to 55 to go. 55.
Yeah, this one's pretty obvious with the how it got a 1. So
It'll look great in your case, though. It doesn't matter about the back, right?
exactly.
He really is going in order.
Congrats, man.
That's awesome.
Big. I'm guessing eBay, right? I would assume.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
But,
so talking about content this week, Mike, baseball collector, he had a video about how kind of venting about how you make a video about your collection. Like, for example, I made a video with my whole Roberto Clemente run, and I got, I don't know, 180 views, which is great. But I made a video one time that said the Golden Glove is broken, and I had 1,000 views. And he was kind of saying similar vein. I know Matt had the big CSG video. He did have the CEO of CSG. So actually, I guess that's a big get. But then, you know, a regular, you know, pickup video might get 70 views or whatever. And anytime anybody posts a PSA or SGC reveal video, you get like 600, 1,000 views on something like that. So I guess kind of, you know, it's kind of frustrating, obviously. So what's you guys' thoughts on it? Or it is what it is. It really doesn't matter. So.
I mean, for me, it's if I like talking about it and I have fun making it and doing what I like to do with my videos, then it doesn't matter. But ultimately, so
Yeah.
my you know, the normal audience that I interact with in comments watches all my stuff, and that's where I have the most fun, anyways. So
yeah, exactly.
I would agree with John. I think it's just the human nature of wanting to see, are we the only one getting these, you know, quote unquote grades, or we getting the grader of, you know, death or whatever. People just want to see what everyone else is doing, make sure everyone else is suffering equally, I think. But I think also people just like to see what people grade too. I think people are interested to see, like, what do they think is worth grading versus other people. Like, I know I grade things that most people think are ridiculous to get graded based on value alone, right? So I think there's some of it's just that too, right? So, and a lot of people do a really good job doing like the pre-grade and then the reveal. People like doing those. Obviously, John did a whole contest around that, right, which was really popular. So I think there's different ways to play it up, but I think just naturally people are going to want to see those reveals just to see how the grades are coming in.
Well, Dylan chimed in with drama gets views.
Yeah.
Scott, who recently did a cat video, said cat videos get the views.
Oh, how many views did he get for that? I'm curious. I actually heard that cat videos do get views.
I did show that one to my wife, Scott, and she was like, "That's a lot of licking for."
Yeah, I like the Alexa video, Scott. Keep doing the Alexa ones. I'm good with those.
Dom doesn't have a lot of grading reveal videos because he buys his cards graded, or he doesn't grade them usually. So, Dom, I'm guessing you have a similar opinion to John. It's just make what you like to make, and it is what it is.
Yeah, I made my channel to like make connections with people, so
yeah,
I don't need to do like the drama videos, a clickbait video. I'm just gonna make the video that I want to make, and if I get a lot of views, great. If I only get some views, that's fine. But what really matters to me more is the comments. Like when I get comments from people that I respect and like, and just going back and forth in the comment sections on my videos and other people's videos, that's so much more fun to me than who watched it.
Yeah. Well, I think me and you have been going back and forth with some thumbnails, because it's kind of you could still make the same video, but you make a funny thumbnail, and it's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like me and you are kind of poking fun at the system. But I don't know what your opinion is on it. But it is kind of funny to try to see who could come up with a creative thumbnail sometimes. So
Yeah, you can only have so many thumbnails that are your desk or the player that you're talking about or whatever. So just mixing it up. It's fun.
yeah,
I like making them.
yeah.
Sounds like a challenge, Dom. Oh, we don't do thumbnails here. We've done 1 out of 50 something. So, and I didn't create it. I assure you.
You got to roll your eyes at those ones where the guys are all doing the
the awkward or the shocked look on their face doing this or.
yeah.
That's funny. I want somebody to do an experiment, like do something ridiculous, like say like PSA is closing or something like that, and do a thumbnail like that. And then when the video comes on, you just have a regular video and just see like what people's reactions are.
Well, you're gonna get a ton of views, but not a hell of a lot of watch time.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and maybe a phone call from Santa Ana for your efforts, right, from the legal department.
Yeah. That's well, we're talking about it, Matt. We might have a sequel to the CSG is failing video. So
We will see. Yeah, I mean, I'm opening up a lot more PSA cards lately. I'm telling you, it's just naturally happening.
yeah, that'll be a good video. Well, we got Matt's big box left to open, but did anybody have anything else they wanted to show or anything that they wanted to talk about?
I mean, since you guys didn't let Adam show his Musial during the last live stream, like I had to bring a Stan Musial of my own, autographed Hall of Fame postcard.
Oh,
The man. I love that that's on his plaque.
that is awesome.
But yeah, you guys didn't give Adam any screen time, so I'm gonna soak up all the Stan Musial live stream screen time.
Yeah, I mean, he barely showed us during that second hour.
Yeah, you guys just teased everybody. It wasn't fun.
Yeah.
I agree. Very nice, Dom. Thanks for bringing that.
Oh, of course.
Does anybody else have any last minute things that
I got one more before we go into the other pickup. This one, I'm not sure if Scott's still on here from Stukes, but he was like Mr. Exhibit. I'm not sure who I'll watch the stream where he kind of walked through like the vending machine cutouts for all the exhibits. I picked up the stat back this week. From 63. So red letters, whatever it's called.
Very nice.
So happy to add that one. I like these bigger cards. I'm telling you, that's most we're gonna see on my channel from this point on. So I'm kind of stuck in that lane for the most part.
Matt, I think you're similar to me. Like once you get that bigger slab in your head,
Yeah,
you just want to keep getting those big slabs, right?
can't get enough of them. I'm telling you, I got to stack. I mean, look, I got the McGregor back there I got last week, right? They're everywhere.
I know.
I love them.
And you have the bad eyesight you always bring up, so it's
I do. I still can't even quite because the red. I can barely read this. Just the red letters kind of are hard to read. But yeah, I need the big letters. Like this Topps Buck's like ridiculous. I barely can read anything on this thing. So
wow.
It's funny they put in a big slab for the little thing. I'm not sure why. Must have been a mold around it.
That's awesome.
Was it too long for a normal? So it's
What's that?
the buck is a little bit too long for the normal, so it ends up being
Yeah.
a really big looking one for it. So
Yeah, I guess it is taller than like a normal. Yeah, just barely. You're right.
Dave's loving my my big slabs comment.
Easy. Yeah, good call.
oh, we got the spirit of Pepino in the chat again, huh?
Yeah. Next he's gonna be talking about Willie cards.
Uh-oh.
John hasn't caught the big card bug yet. I don't think you have hardly any big cards, right, John? I'm trying to think.
I have not yet hit even 200 for a purchase yet.
Size. I think you're talking about the size, right?
Well, you can get an exhibit card.
You're saying big in terms of size. No, I have no slabs that aren't the normal size slab. So.
Yeah. I was reading the
budget. I'm constrained as well. So
yeah. But there's some cheap stuff out there, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with oversized willies,
How's that feel? How's that Willie feel in your head?
I'm honored. I'm honored.
Oh man. We might be at the time that everybody's been waiting for. The big reveal by Matt. It's just been fire all night.
Yeah. So
what's he got left?
So the funny part is this isn't really the Grail card that I was hoping for, right? So I think I mentioned this to Theo when I got this one, but like I've been looking for the cons cards. I think it was George had one of those on his table display. He had one of the errands. I can't remember if it was 65 or 67. Been looking to pick up one of those, and one went overnight for a really good deal one night, and I was not happy. So I kind of made a little bit of an impulse buy, and then obviously that then spurred on other purchases. So I'll show the other purchase first, but
you have another thing to show.
Well, yeah, I got to lead into the big one, right?
Okay.
So this is the 73 candy lids. Again, PSA, I guess probably my new best friend of Hank Aaron. Just like the normal candy lids. So this had gum inside of it. I'm assuming some like little like chiclet type gums or something. But yeah, so that was that. So then, but I got this after this other purchase. So I think we've belabored this one long enough. I'll get out of this stupid blue thing. But it was actually fun. I haven't actually looked at this yet. I've had it for a week now almost. But so this is pretty. I'm not sure if it's rare, scarce, whatever the word is.
Where's Tyrus at tonight?
Probably playing Fortnite. You know, really important stuff. I'm surprised Dave's here. Dave, I thought Dave might be playing with him. So this one's. I think there's been 3 at PSA. So this is the test proof from that 73 Topps candy lid.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So they only do they're all authentic. Kind of back to the other comment too, right? So it's obviously a normal size item, but the proof card for this. So,
You put it all the way up. Let's see it close. Nice.
Better?
Yeah.
Sorry for the glare. That's better. Down. Yeah, I think that's better.
So that's a pop 4.
I think pop 3 maybe. I don't know. There aren't a lot of these. Actually, it's 3. None of them have more than 3 graded. I'm sure there's more out there, right? But so yeah, after I heard about one of our other friends having issues with authentication in terms of something not getting through, I was worried just the whole time until I saw it pop that it was through, because I always want to make sure it's real, but I wanted to get it, right? So there hasn't been one sold for years, so just have to pick it up.
That's a crazy addition, Matt.
Yeah, this is probably like top 5 in terms of, I guess, value for whatever that's worth of our collection. But by far the rarest one we have in terms of number out there, at least according to what's been graded. So
that fits in a normal slab, right?
Yeah, it's just a normal. This is a normal one. So like.
So I'm asking when's they get the CSG cross?
Oh, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can do it. I'd hate for them to like crack it and tell me they can't do anything with it, and I got to get it back in this other one, right? So
Matt's trying to make the comp price even lower.
Yeah, I think this is almost when I'd feel guilty is like crossing it, because population probably pretty important when you have that few. But anyway, so I was happy to get that one. I got some other ones, but we'll wait for another episode maybe.
Wow.
Isn't that going to boost your registry score though, huh? CSG.
Well, I at this point, I'm mostly the only one that adds cards. So to CSG, they don't count authentic cards like we talked about when I talked about with the CEO. They don't count it, then it's just an authentic grade in the registry. So for CSG, in fact, they won't really put it in your inventory. So I pretty unlikely to cross it just for those 2 reasons alone. So a little frustrated, like the Jello card, right? So even though it's authentic, they won't even let it put it in inventory on the website.
So we had a good question, Matt, and I know you're no expert at this like I am either, but how did you figure out what to offer? Like what comps did you go off of? You don't have to say what you paid for it, but
yeah, no. So there weren't any. So I went to like if you go to PSA and you look up like the population report and look up a card, there's that APR button you can hit on that's got I think it means like auction price realized. I think is what it stands for. And it goes back like 10 years across eBay plus all the big auction houses. And there was 0 activity for the proofs. A lot of the proofs had no activity. So I saw, I think Tom Seaver had one sell for just under $200. So I offered a certain multiplier of that, kind of how I backed into my number that I offered. But the person was asking almost 2K originally. And I got it for well under that. well under half of that. So I was happy to get it. But yeah, that was the only one that even sold the last couple of years of any player. So again, on an auction house, I'm sure there's private sales happening, right? But it's one of the ones I just wanted to get because I figure there got to be more than just a handful of us that like Aaron this much. So someone had to release that card because they had to, not because they wanted to. I'm assuming, right? So when you get that chance, and if the money's sitting there, I'm going to take it any day.
I don't know if Dom agrees, but once you start getting into proofs, that's a slippery slope to try to start picking up proofs. But Dom had a big proof buy this year, and did you go get it, Dom, or no?
No, I didn't go get that.
Yeah.
I was just plugging in my computer for my charger, but it was something where Matt reached out to me when he was like looking at that or just purchased the proof, and I didn't know that they did that with those because I'd seen the candy lids, but I'd never seen the proofs like that. And he told me kind of like the multiplier that he used, and then I looked on eBay immediately, being like, okay, so how many of theirs are out there? And guy had a Willie McCovey with like a pink, and knowing what those ones had gone for, I offered him something that I thought was fair based off like the multipliers and Willie McCovey not having as much hobby love as Hank Aaron, and the guy declined it. But they're really cool cards. I love the bright colors, and then the backs of those candy lids are just so cool. It's very 70s. So that's definitely a big thing for his PC. And when it's something that's that rare, you just gotta go off of similar test proofs that are, whether they're from the same issue, different player, or same player, different issue, and kind of just go from there and judge for yourself what you're comfortable paying for it.
Yeah. So George just asked Dom, how did you figure out your Joe Morgan? And it's probably the same answer you just gave, right?
Oh, that one was like an automatic buy pretty much for me. As soon as I looked up on PSA to see like what the population was of it, because the proof that I got of Joe Morgan from 69 Top Super, I paid a little bit less than what PSA like 8 or 9s of Hall of Famers from the regular Top Super set from that year were going for. Wow. So it was a pop one, and it was going for less. I think just because it had authentic on it, it wasn't as like attractive to whoever got it in a collection buy or however he came upon it. But it was something where I just did a tiny bit of research and was like, I need to buy this card right now. Like, this is cool. I was looking to get a card from that set. Wasn't expecting to be able to afford a proof, let alone of a Hall of Famer.
Well, pop one, a grade doesn't even matter at that point.
No, it's just how much are you willing to pay for it at that point. Yeah.
That's great. Well, I think we could probably, unless you had something in the chat, John, I think we could probably wrap it up.
I think I'm good.
Okay. Well, why don't we have a little bit of fun here? Why don't we all grab a card? It doesn't matter which one. And why don't we do a thumbnail pose at the same time with that card? Whatever thumbnail pose you think is a good one, and then we'll end the live stream. John, you have to get the Mr. Ed picture.
Are we doing one for the ones from tonight or just any one? All right.
It doesn't matter.
All right. We'll do the dollar one then. I can get it so it doesn't look bad.
Good night, guys.
Good night. Thanks for having me on.